Hey, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be discussing some potential defensive free agents that the Texans should target this offseason. And we all know that Nick Cassero has been super aggressive and also making smart deals by signing some veteran guys to one-year contracts. And it's been reported from Ian Rappaport that the Texans are going to make plenty of moves in the upcoming days. Let's go ahead and get started.
First defensive free agent that we should target is Desmond King. He was traded to the Tennessee Titans around the trade deadline from LA Chargers. He'll be a very good scheme fit in my opinion. He can slide into that slot role, but like in the Tampa 2. He's pretty small, but he has the willingness to tackle, so tackling won't be an issue for him. So I feel like we could slide him into that Tampa 2 role pretty good. For the contract we should give him, it's probably like a 2-year deal, nothing crazy, just to see what we could get out of him for $12 million. So $6 million per year. And yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it looks like a pretty solid player. I mean, he's only 26, and it's good that we get young guys because we could go under a potential rebuild. So by the time that we're kind of done rebuilding phase and we're actually maybe a contender, these guys won't be super old or whatever. But yeah, he looks like a solid guy. He let up only 68% completion percentage. Only allowed 299 yards over 15 games. He didn't get any interceptions though, but that's okay. And but see, like I said, like solid guy, and I agree with everything you said about him and the contract too. Seems reasonable.
Yeah, the second guy that we should target is Casey Hayward. He was just recently released by the Los Angeles Chargers, I think 2 days ago or 3 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. He's a pretty older guy. He's a veteran. I think he's 31, 32. So he wouldn't have too many years, at least good years playing. He could probably come in and be a mentor to maybe like a rookie cornerback that we would get. He'd probably come in and be their cornerback number 2 or cornerback number 3. I don't think we should give him too big of a deal. Probably like 1 year, maybe $3 to $4 million. Probably like all incentive based. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Casey Hayward?
Yeah, Casey Hayward. He's pretty good in coverage. He only allowed 49.4% from completion percentage, so that's really good. Much better compared to the last guy we talked about, Desmond King. So yeah, like you said, 1 year contract kind of goes along with the whole trend with that Caserio is going with veterans on cheap deals, prove it deals, I guess, where they can get an actual contract maybe from another team perhaps. But yeah, he also tackles well, 41 tackles, pretty solid in 14 games. So that's pretty decent. From Casey Hayward, like you said, he would be a good. He could be potentially cornerback 1 if Roby is cut, which has been rumored. But yeah, like you said, he would be a great addition to this team.
Yeah, and the third guy that I would like to target is Kevin King out of the Green Bay Packers. I know that he didn't have the best playoffs or the best season this past season. I think he got burned by Scotty Miller, I think, from Tampa Bay in the NFC Championship game. But he's still a decent player. I know that he has problems fitting into the Green Bay Packers scheme. I'm not too sure how that would affect us that we're going to run a Tampa 2, but I'd hope that he could come in here and probably be a decent slot guy, maybe be like that sub linebacker in some plays or in some situations. I wouldn't give him too big of a deal either, knowing that he just come off one of his worst seasons as a pro in the NFL. I'll probably give him like a 2 years for $9 million, probably like $4.5 million a year. Yeah, what are your thoughts on Kevin King?
Yeah, like you said, he didn't have such a great year last year. The year before that, he did have 5 interceptions, which is really good. But yeah, like you said, he only this year he had 1 forced fumble, and he did have 57 combined tackles. So I mean, he looks like solid guy. I mean, he let up 63.2% completion percentage, so he'd probably be probably a better option than Desmond King. And he's only Kevin King is only 25 years old, so they're about the same age. And so but if you're talking about who has potential to be better, I would say Kevin King in my opinion. And he does come from the Packers, who have a good secondary there, so he probably knows like he's been coached well, is what I'm saying.
The fourth player I would like to target in free agency is Larry Ogunjobi, the defensive tackle out of New Orleans Saints. He's a pretty good guy. He could come in and be that 3-tech type of guy. He could get that instant pressure, collapse the pocket type of guy. I know he doesn't get too many sacks, but he can really help force that pocket to collapse. He could probably form a good duo with Ross Blacklock as the two interior D linemen. Um, I've seen New Orleans dropping back into coverage a couple times just to play like that, I guess, shallow, shallow cross throw or the shallow cross shot or whatever. I'd probably give him like a 2 year, maybe like $12 million, probably like a $6 million per year type of deal. I think it's pretty fair on both sides. What do you think?
Yeah. For Cleveland, he played. Yeah. For Cleveland, yeah, like he's really good. I would say he's a great replacement for that void that was never really filled when DJ Reader was gone, and so he's kind of the guy you don't really see much of the stuff on the stat sheet, but he still makes that kind of impact. And he did have 46 combined tackles last year, and the year before that he had 50. So that's really good for a guy like him. And he's only 26. Like I said, get young guys who are willing to prove themselves on another team. And but yeah, I would totally be excited for this signing for sure if we got him.
Yeah, no, the next guy I'd like to target is Tackerus McKinley. He was released by the Atlanta Falcons. I'm not sure what week it was, but it was pretty early on into the season. I know he failed. I think it was 3 physicals, one with the 49ers, one with the Oakland Raiders, or Las Vegas Raiders, and then I think one with Cincinnati. I feel like he has the talent. He could probably come in here and be a solid rotational piece as an edge rusher. I know he has like some pretty, I guess you could say, emotional problems. I'm not sure. He has anger issues. But he's a solid player. He for sure has talent. That's why he was drafted in, I think, the first round. If we could probably give him like a 1 year, maybe like a minimum deal, maybe like $2 or $3 million, based on all incentives, if he plays a certain amount of games or whatever. I feel like he could be a solid signing. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I mean he was a first round talent, so obviously a team saw, like Atlanta saw, that he had the talent to be one like a starter from day one. But obviously he hasn't been proving that over his career, and so yeah, the failing the physical part is kind of concerning to me. And if he does have some character issues that or need to be resolved or something, I don't think Texans are the type of team to go after those guys. And from what we've seen in the past, and I don't know if Caserio is that type of guy to take a gamble on some of those guys. I know sometimes in the Patriots, Bill Belichick did take chances on those guys. Obviously, they signed Antonio Brown that one time, so like maybe Nick Caserio shares that same mindset. And honestly, he would be better than he'd probably be like one of like probably probably a top 3 edge rusher on our team maybe. But like just from a talent aspect, but I don't know if he'd be a good fit here. So I would say I wouldn't be super hyped about the signing, but it could be something worth taking a chance on for sure.
Yeah, and the next guy I would like to potentially sign is Jarrell Casey. I know he's pretty older, he's 32 or 33, I think. He played formerly with the Tennessee Titans and then to the Denver Broncos, I think, and he got released by the Denver Broncos a few weeks ago or days ago. He's not gonna come in here and be like I guess a starter, or maybe he could, but he would more so be like a rotational piece, try to teach these younger guys how to be like a pro guy like him, I guess. Just come in here, maybe play a few snaps, get a few stats, get his stats up, probably get I guess, somewhat of a bag, probably like one of his final contracts. I would say maybe like a 2-year deal, maybe like a $5 million, maybe like a $2.5 million per year type of deal. What do you think about Jarrell Casey?
Yeah, Jarrell Casey, it seems like he only played 3 games last year, so seems like maybe because of injury or something, but he does have a pretty good in the past he's done a solid role player for some teams, so he, like, let's look at last year's stats just for reference. He had 26 solo tackles, 18 assisted tackles, which is and so that's not too bad. And he had 5 tackles for loss, 10 quarterback hits, which is less than what he's usually gotten, which is around like that. He had 3 years in the past where he had 18 quarterback hits, but it seems like he's kind of slowing down in that regard. So he kind of seems like an aging veteran that is kind of a little washed in a sense. So maybe he can revive his career, but the Texans are kind of known for giving contracts to guys who are not the greatest, like Eric Murray and that type. So I'd probably be whelmed if we signed him, but it is what it is. You never know what this new coaching staff could do with someone like him. So yeah.
Yeah, and the next guy I'd like to target, this is probably one of my favorite free agent signings if we were to get him. I wasn't too high on him before, but after watching him, looking at some of the stats and box score, Keanu Neal out of the Atlanta Falcons. I think he was coming off a torn ACL a year before this past season, and this past season, coming back from it, he played a pretty good season. I think he could come in here and fit in this Tampa 2 role fairly good, probably not the best, but I mean, probably produce some numbers, produce some stats. Yeah, maybe if we get like a 3-year, $18 million, or like a 6-year, or $6 million per year type of deal. Nothing too crazy, but nothing like lowball. I feel like it can be fair on both sides. What do you think about Keanu Neal?
Yeah, Keanu Neal does have an injury-ridden history. In 2018, he only played 1 game. 2019, he played 3 games, and this past season, that was his first healthy season where he played 15 games. And so, yeah, I mean, he seems like he's still young. Like I've been saying this whole video, you kind of got to take a chance on some of these young guys who you think have talent. And this guy, I like the way he plays with aggression and things like that. So that's nice to see. And so his stats could be better, but staying on the field is probably the main issue when considering the main factor when considering signing Keanu Neal. But would definitely be a guy worth taking a chance on, in my opinion.
Yeah. And the next guy I would like to target is also one of my favorite potential defensive free agent signings, and it's Romeo Okwara out of the Detroit Lions. He has one of the best pass. I don't know how to say it. One of the best pass percentage or whatever it's called, pass defense percentage. He didn't have too many sacks last season with the Detroit Lions, but I mean, he has that potential to come in and be one of the main guys, like the number 1 edge rusher on our team. He would probably come in being day 1 as the best edge rusher on our team. He could probably fit in as that 4-3 defensive end. He could probably play like most of the snaps, probably like 80% of the snaps. I think he's 25, 26. He has that potential to be a superstar edge rusher. I feel like he would be deserving of a 5-year, probably like a $52 million deal, somewhere around like 10.2, 10.3 million per year. What do you think about Romeo Okwara?
Yeah, he's actually a pretty good player from what I've seen, because he's had 10 sacks and he only played 66.5% of the snaps. So that's a pretty good thing to see. And he had 11 tackles for loss, 18 quarterback hits, and he had 3 forced fumbles. That's really good. Someone who has active hands, who is willing to create turnovers. We really need that on the Texans, to be honest, because Texans were kind of like one of the lower teams with turnovers, especially at the beginning of the season, where we were struggling. We went several games without forcing a turnover. So someone who can do that for us is Romeo Okwara, and he probably wants something more than wants something around like 16, probably, like you said, 14 million, maybe like a Daniel Hunter contract, Daniel Hunter currently makes 14.4 million each year, so probably something around those lines. And I'd be definitely happy to throw that much money at him, and it seems like a pretty good player in general. So, and he's only how old is he again?
I think he's like 24, 25.
Yeah, so obviously worth taking a chance on for sure. So yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, my dream free agent signing for the defense, like my number 1, would be Carl Lawson. I know that he has a prior relationship with Shaq Lawson, the guy who was just traded for from North McKinney. I don't think they've ever really played together, but I know they have a friendship. I've seen them post IG pictures together before. He could probably come in day 1 and be that number 1 edge rusher, just like Romeo Okwara. He didn't have the flashiest numbers on the box score in Cincinnati, but this past year he really broke out in terms of that pressure rate. I feel like it could be that superstar that we really need on the defensive line after J.J. Watt, and after Jadeveon Clowney, and after DJ Reader. He would probably want a pretty hefty bag. I'll probably give him like a 5-6 year deal, maybe like around maybe 65 million, something like that. What do you think about Carl Lawson?
Yeah, Carl Lawson, he did tweet on Twitter right after Shaq Lawson was signed by the Texans. So maybe he does have some intrigue in going to the Texans, which is kind of surprising, given what's been surrounding this team. But Nick Casario has been getting it done. So, but yeah, Carl Lawson. Some stats about him: he in 68.3 defensive snaps, he had 18 solo tackles, 18 assisted tackles, 5.5 sacks, four tackles for loss, and two forced fumbles. So honestly, kind of like around. It seems like Romeo Aquara looks better from the stat sheet, but obviously when you see them play, they both are great in their own regard. So obviously, I wouldn't mind either one. Honestly, Carl Lawson, Shaq Lawson would be a great tandem. Also, in addition to Jacob Martin and things, and other players, obviously. So
Yeah, and what's your dream free agent signing? Like, what would your number one priority be, I guess, as a player to do this?
William Jackson, the cornerback, he would be my dream signing for sure. Because like we need that secondary help, and he's been a stud for Cincinnati, and I really hope he would sign for the Texans. And a lot of Texans fans are rooting for someone like William Jackson, rooting for Nick Casario to make a splash in the free agency, and this would be the definition of a splash signing.
Yeah, William Jackson could probably come in and be our cornerback number one. Roby could be our cornerback number two, and then maybe hopefully one of either Kevin King or Desmond King could be like our slot guy with Vernon Hargraves and what's that his name? John Reed. They could probably be like our cornerback number four. Oh, and then also we have what's his name?
Hargraves, so we re-signed.
Yeah, probably like in the slot, like you said, or maybe we could even put him like at that third safety role. Maybe be like that that emergency safety, something like that. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it for the defensive free agent video. Let us know what y'all think down in the comments below, and who would y'all's dream free agent be on the defense. And yeah.